A key benefit to adding range names to your workbook is to ensure that formulas and calculations are easier to read and understand, especially if you are sending a workbook to a client or colleague. Thomas from Westcal Publishing needs to be able to work with large amounts of data, formulas and functions within a single document. While cell references can be used to identify where formulas are getting information to calculate data, it is not always obvious, especially to others who may be encountering the document for the first time. Thomas is aware that Excel allows you to give names to individual cells and cell ranges and then use those names in formulas and functions. Thomas wants to learn how to utilize this feature so that he can organize the worksheets efficiently and clearly so that his managers and colleagues can understand at a glance what data is being used in a formula or function. Let's look at one way to do this using cell and range names. Range names are meaningful labels that you can assign to individual cells or cell ranges. You can use a range name anywhere you would use a cell reference or cell range reference. This means you can use a name such as employees to describe a range of cells rather than their cell references. Range names make formulas much more readable, improve worksheet clarity, and greatly improve worksheet organization. Range names can even help in the overall design of your worksheet. On screen, cells A2 and B2 have been given names total sales and total expenses, and those names have been used in a formula in cell C2. As an added bonus, range names are absolute references. This means that if you copy a formula or use autofill while using named ranges, the formula will maintain its original cell references. Most small worksheets are usually constructed by filling a sheet with data and then performing calculations. However, range names enable you to create a worksheet by doing the opposite, constructing formulas and then adding the data. When you are designing your worksheet, you can create formulas using names instead of traditional cell references and then define the names for the corresponding ranges as data becomes available. Keep in mind when choosing cell or range names that all names must start with a letter, underscore or backslash. Beyond the first character, you can add any letter or number you wish. Additionally, names cannot contain any spaces, nor can they contain cell references. Finally, it is important to note that cell and range names are not case sensitive. Let's take a look at how defining and naming ranges of data works in Excel. On screen now is an empty worksheet with a defined formula, but no defined names, which results in a name error. This error will remain visible until both value 1 and value 2 have been defined. Let's add some range names using the name box. To apply a cell name or range name, first use your cursor to select the cells that you want to name. Next, type the name that you would like to use into the name box. Pressing Enter will apply this name. From then on, you'll be able to select this range by clicking the Name Box drop-down menu and then clicking on the range name that you set. Finally, let's look at adding range names using the New Name dialog box. Cells and cell ranges can also be named using the New Name dialog box. While this technique takes a little bit longer, you have more control over what cells the name refers to. To open the New Name dialog box, click the Formula tab and then Define Name. When the New Name dialog box is displayed, you will see that the name field appears at the top. The Scope drop-down menu allows you to choose if this new name will be applied to only the current worksheet or the entire workbook. Inside the comment text area, you can enter a brief description of the named cell or range. By default, the cells that were selected when the Define Name command was clicked will already be filled into the Refers To field. If you wish, you can change this selection by clicking on the cell selector. Once you enter your options and click OK, the named range will be created. You can see a list of all the names that have been created by going to the Formula tab and clicking Name Manager to open the Name Manager dialog box. Clicking the New button will open the New Name dialog box, which you can use to create a new range name. If you select a name from the list in the Name Manager dialog box and then click the Edit button, the Edit Name dialog box will be shown. This dialog box is identical to the New Name dialog box. The only difference is that it will be pre-populated with information from the selected range name. To delete a range name, click to select the range name in question and then click the Delete button. A dialog box will then open to ask you to confirm this action. Click OK to complete the deletion process. Finally, the Filter command is used to show only certain ranges based on specified criteria. This is particularly useful when working with a workbook that contains a large amount of range names, as you can quickly narrow down the list to only those ranges that you would like to work with.